And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. With part 2 of our segment, we are speaking with Mrs. Jeanette Strong, Miss Mallory Hill, and Mrs. Marilyn Newsom. They are from the R.E.S.P program, which stands for Rights in Education for Students and Parents. And they got a little flyer here. I'm just going to read it off right quick, give a little information, then we're going to talk about the things that they have going on. It says it's a community organization concerned about student motivation, discipline, parental involvement, school personnel, and community cultural preservation. So they got a lot of things coming up. They are back on the scene. They went away for a while, but they're back and they've got a lot of things going on. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So ladies, how you doing this morning?
Doing pretty good.
All right. So let's just kind of just start with the beginning. Let's kind of give a little bit of background on what the program is. Anybody?
The program was established in 1997, but the talk about the program or the organization started roughly around 1994. I'm the niece of Harriet Janice Hyatt. She's one of the charter members, along with Dr. Robbie Lau, and I call her Aunt Carolyn. It's Miss Carolyn Shepherd. There was a need for a voice for the African American community in dealing with the local school district. And so Dr. Lau with Aunt Jane and Aunt Carolyn and several others came together, and they were talking about why there wasn't an advocate community organization for the purpose of being that bridge between the school district and the African American community.
All right. Our Facebook Live is already jumping. Adrian Everett, shout out to him. And Chelsea says, Mal, absolutely gorgeous. Good morning, Mrs. Maryland and Mrs. Strong. I can't wait to find out more and get involved. So, I mean, we're just getting started and it's already jumping.
Yes.
All right, so, Mrs. Strong, you mentioned about it started because there was a need for advocacy for African American students in schools. So, what needs were observed that you all felt that needed to be addressed, both then and now? Because there's some that were unique to then, and there's some that still are relative now.
Well, then, black students from the organization's charter members felt that they were being misunderstood, miscommunicated, and mistreated. I call it the Miss Syndrome.
Basically, there were disparities and
Yes.
the application of discipline.
Absolutely.
Disparities
Discipline was an issue.
and the way
Education,
that...
quality of education.
yeah, thank you for
Also,
articulating
one
that.
thing in particular is also the busing, as well as making sure that the students had adequate transportation to school. A lot of students in North Jonesboro at that particular time in the early 90s when they were starting, they were walking to Jonesboro High School and out to Annie Camp to get to school, as opposed to having a running bus route. So those are things that triggered, the launch of Rights in Education for Students and Parents. So there are a lot of different things back then, and there are even things today, like you mentioned today. For example, we want to make sure that all students and parents have access to the programs that are being offered by the school, as well as if there are any gaps. We want to make sure that they're aware of that, and any laws that are created by the state of Arkansas, the education board, and things of that nature, that we're observing those things, and that's what respect is there to.
And what are
help with.
what are some of the current things that are going on, current laws that you are observing right now?
For example, one of the things that Respect in the past helped to do is make sure that, and keep in mind that, in the past it was primarily about making sure that our African American students were advocated for. But, we work with all students and all parents, the entire community. Our purpose and our reach is actually for the public schools here in the Jonesboro community area, such as Jonesboro Public Schools, Nettleton Public Schools, Valley View, and Westside. But some of the things that we would want to make sure is that we want to make sure that the staff adequately reflects the population of the students that you serve. For example, if you have a 15% Hispanic population, well, guess what? We want to make sure that you have teachers and faculty and staff to represent that.
So to that end, you are working either alone or in conjunction with others to recruit minority teachers, African American and Hispanic, and also other races as well?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And let's kind of even transition that a little bit into student rights, because you now have with cyberbullying, and you have students who are bullied, not just for their race, but for what they may have, even their even for their gender.
Absolutely.
And there's all different kinds of things that a student can now, be bullied for. Mm-hmm. So, what is your group doing in that realm?
So, I want to say we're right now with the relaunch. You got to keep in mind that when it started in the 90s, it's a whole different spectrum. So we're taking into account all of those things, and with our community meeting that we want to start with the general public. Then from there, we want to set that agenda for 2020 to decide what are our key impact areas that we want to focus on. But in particular, we want to make sure that every single right of the parent and the student is being well respected and spoken to.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about that meeting in just a moment.
For sure.
Mrs. Newsom, did you have a comment? The headphones not working?
I can't hear you, sir.
What?
I don't have it on. I don't think.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if you wanted to speak because you kept looking at me, so.
No.
Okay, I didn't want to take away from your opportunity to speak. We are speaking with Mrs. Jeanette Strong, Mrs. Marilyn Newsom, and Miss Mallory Hill of the R.E.S.P program. If you have a question for either of these ladies, you can give us a call at 870-277-1080, or you can leave your questions or your comments on our Facebook Live feed. And we got a comment from Adrian who says, "Good morning, good people." All right, so Mallory, you mentioned about this public meeting. Let's kind of talk a bit about it.
Okay. In September the 12th, our relaunch, actually, our kickoff that we want the public to be a part of is tomorrow. We want you to come out. Tomorrow night at Even Watson Center at 5 p.m. We're asking that you come out and actually learn a little bit more about respect, as well as to meet your educators. This is the first week of school. It's a great time for parents and community members to learn who's working with your students and working with your children. Come out and meet your school board members. We've invited school board members from every single school in the city, as well as we've invited teachers, paraprofessionals that all work at our public schools. And we would like for everyone to come out and meet one another, learn a little bit more about respect, as well as talk about ways in which we can work to just make this a better community for our students. But that begins on tomorrow night at 5 p.m. at Even Watson Center. And then we'll follow up with all of that information in September with our public meeting on September the 12th. And we'll give more information about that as that is to come. But once again, the main thing is we want you to be with us tomorrow as we have refreshments and, like I said, get to know our board members and get to know the history of respect, as well as some of the things that we plan to do in this next incoming year, this school year.
Okay. Any of those things that you are planning that you can talk about now, or they got to wait till tomorrow to come out?
Well, I can tell you one thing that many people might not necessarily know about respect. Like Ms. Jeanette did mention that respect was founded in the 90s. One of the things that exists today that you might not necessarily recognize and connect with respect is the African American Cultural Center that is inside the Even Watson Center. That was founded, and it is a program that is through rights and education for students and parents. And the reason that was founded is to make sure that we could preserve our history and our culture here in Craighead County and in Jonesboro, so that everyone would know, what we've done, our contributions, as well as to keep up with some of our local things. And inside that museum, if you happen to go by, you can go by and see Mr. Roger McKinney at Even Watson. He would love to give you a tour. Yes. The museum has actually been highlighted on an HBO documentary with the rapper J. Cole, of course. Mm-hmm. And then if you go in there, a special plug for KLEK, there is an exhibit in talking about KLEK.
I was going to say something, but you stole my thunder.
I stole your thunder. I'm sorry. I'll let Legacy talk about that.
But it's always better when someone else does it instead of yourself. But I do concur. It is important, and I learned a lot myself. The times that I've been in there and seen all the exhibits of the history of of Jonesboro, and of course you did mention we do have an exhibit there, which I'm definitely proud of, being the first black radio station. But not just because I started it, but once I'm gone on and all of us here are gone on, those behind can say, this was something that did happen, and that there was actually a radio station, and hopefully it'll still be on the air when they come through.
Right.
It says that those contributions are involved, but they got definitely lots of great. My personal favorite is actually the churches. So
absolutely,
you can learn the history of all of the predominantly African American churches here in Jonesboro, and it's got pictures and everything. So definitely go check it out. And if you can't make the meeting tomorrow, NAACP, they're going to be meeting Monday in the E.B. Watson Center at 6 o'clock. So that'd be another opportunity in which you can check it out, and also to see what NAACP is doing as well.
Yeah, the museum is always open for tours, and anytime that you need to schedule a tour, for sure we can get you in contact with Mr. Roger McKinney so that he can open it. It's a great addition to anything for teachers and educators. If you needed something to supplement your programs in school, to talk about local Arkansas history, it's a great place to go for that. As well as with family reunions and all types of events. Come learn about what's going on in Craighead County. And once again, that is something that was founded by Rights and Education for Students and Parents. That's our baby.
Okay, so getting back to the program, so let me kind of paint a picture here. So a scenario to where a student or a parent feels like that student's rights have been violated, and they feel they either don't have the recourse, or they don't know what to do, or they don't have the resources or the know-how to challenge what is going on. How would your organization help in that case?
We can assist by making sure that the school districts have access to agency, organization, and information. The bottom line is information is still the key. Mm-hmm. And in the past, present, and hopefully not so much in the future, information is the key to success. So when you know better, you can actually do better.
Right.
And that's what respect, that's the foundation of respect, to know better. So your school districts need to reflect your population, not only in faculty and hiring staff and paraprofessional, but you need to understand. So there should be diversity training going on. There's a difference between the culture of Hispanic, Latino, and African American.
Absolutely.
There's a difference. So you have to understand, in minority communities, our heritage, our history, we are hearing it either from our family members or the churches. I graduated from high school in 1985. We didn't discuss black history in public school. But my church, it would discuss 365 days a year.
And of course, I got to do a quick KLEK plug. And of course, now we have Black History all day, every day. Shout out to Dr. Sharice Jones Branch.
Yay, yay.
But it's important that, as Mrs. Strong was mentioned, that going from a time where it wasn't mentioned at all to where it is now discussed in churches, and now you have the radio station that broadcasts it 24/7, and even social media.
In schools, some teachers are actually allowed to address in February Black History.
So and it's important not just to have it, but to learn it and to observe it and to soak it in as well. Got a couple Facebook shout-outs. Shout out to Gerard Lockhart, and shout out to Bethany Hill, your sister Mallory, who says good morning. Well, good morning, Bethany. Always good to have each and every one of you checking in on our Facebook live feed.
I did want to drop something else in. Also, some of the programs and things with respect that we've done in the past, in response to when a parent brings a grievance to us, or students brings a grievance to us about something that may not have happened according to the way they thought it should have, we do take the time to research it. It's not something where you'll see respect just pop up and like, hey, we demand our rights. It is a process there. We do take the time to research. We spend a lot of time with research, as well as making sure that that we follow the district's plan for reconciliation and mediation, and then we also spend the time and help to support with if it needs to be any type of legal support. R.E.S.P has in the past provided grants and things to make sure that the students have that support and families have that support to make sure that every accommodation that they need is met. Absolutely. And that's like I said, that's what we're here for. We're their liaison, we're their advocate, and we're here to help the community and the students and the parents.
Got another Facebook shout out to Jacqueline West in the building. Says good morning, Sora Jan.
Right, good morning.
So we got Z5B in the building. Mr. Newsom, you keep looking at me like you just bursting to say something.
Is my microphone on? Yes.
Oh, yes.
It is? Oh, can you hear me? Okay, good morning.
We can hear you loud and clear.
I'm a little congested, so I just want to make one statement about what we are doing with respect. One of our primary goals, beginning and now, is to inform the parents and students of the school policies. A lot of times they don't understand school policies, and maybe they have not read them. So one of the things, as Ms. Mallory said, we try to educate them on them, research and see what's going on so they can be better informed about what their rights are, and if they've been violated or, there's some disparate treatment going on there. So we want to make sure that all the children and the parents understand school policies, because there are things that we have to follow,
And that is absolutely correct. And I think when you start off doing it at the beginning, it helps to head off a lot of potential problems and potential issues down the line. So what is R.E.S.P doing to help, the kids themselves? We talk about the external advocacy, but like the internally, because in the earlier segment we had Mr. Ryan on talking about the program that they have to get them supplies. But what will you all be doing to help, like if kids are struggling with homework, if they're struggling with their grades, if they're struggling with bullying or things like that?
One thing we in the process of relaunching for today is that we are going to do a lot of collaboration. There are so many organizations, churches, ministries, nonprofit, for-profit organization, basically being an advocate and doing the same thing, or shall I say, have in mind to do the same thing. We need to pull together. To me, it's like a ball like this, but in order for all the students, that ball need to get a little bit tighter. Right. So that is one of the goals that R.E.S.P has planned as of today, is start working together with already established organizations, and let's pull together. It literally takes a village. A village is not one or two streets or 2 blocks. A village is a whole city, a whole town. And we come with that mentality for our students, our family, and our community today.
Absolutely. And do you all have a website or social media presence?
Building it right now. We will have one by the September meeting.
Okay,
for sure.
So stay tuned, and of course once that's out there, we'll definitely share that so that people can get connected and stay involved. We've got about 3.5 minutes left, so any final comments or anything that you want to touch on? And let's once again plug the meeting tomorrow.
Well, like I said, we want everybody to come out to the community and be a part of, like I said, what the relaunch of R.E.S.P and what R.E.S.P is trying to do. I want you to also know that, R.E.S.P is not coming to you with all bad things either. One of the programs that we used to have back in the day, and I know there's a lot of us that are millennials that remember this program, and Generation Xers, that we used to have the community-wide celebration where we would recognize all youth from every school and we would celebrate their achievements. That's coming back in the spring.
Yes.
Where parents and students will be able to...
I know KLK will be involved somehow.
Man, we would love to have KLK out there, but basically it's a nice celebration banquet. I know you have one at school, but it's something different when you get that celebration from your community. Your village is there to pat you on the back and say, you know what? We are proud of you. We see you. We see what you're doing, and we recognize you, and we salute you. So we're bringing that back. That was something that was instrumental to my childhood, and I know that it would be something great. Huh?
You got you some awards.
I did give you some awards. I had a couple of trophies, but we're gonna bring that back for this generation because, like I said, it's important. It's important to instill those things into them.
All right.
For sure.
And the meeting is tomorrow, E. Boone Watson Center. What's the time?
5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Is it
We're
gonna
gonna
be
have some food.
You already know where I was going.
I got you. We got food.
All right. All right. Quick Facebook comment. Jacqueline West says, "Sound like a great idea. I would love to volunteer to help." Good point. So, if someone wants to volunteer and get involved, who do they need to contact and give them the information?
Jeanette Strong, 501-762-7830.
Give me the number one more time.
501-762-7860.
All right, and that's Mrs.
We also have an email.
Okay, give it to him.
Address.
Give it to him.
Mallory.
Oh my gosh.
And we also plan to work.
It's on the back of that card.
Okay, yeah, here we go, right here. The email is RESPinc870@gmail.com. Once again, that is RESPinc870@gmail.com. And you can get more information. You can volunteer. You can donate supplies, donate money. Oh, yes, Mrs. Newsom.
We also like for you to know we meet every second Thursday at 6 o'clock at the E. Boone Watson Center. We are looking for volunteers. We are looking for memberships. We were going to be having a membership drive soon. Just wanted you to let you know that. And also you can contact me, Marilyn Newsom, at 870-316-1640. If you have any questions or comments or information you need.
And of course, if you don't remember any of that, you can always contact us here at KLEK, and we will make sure that these ladies get the information and get you connected and get you in contact. So once again, the meeting is tomorrow, 5 p.m., E. Boone Watson Center. Come learn more about the R.E.S.P program. It stands for Rights and Education for Students and Parents. So you definitely need to get in on this so that you can ensure that your child has all of the information and resources needed to have a successful school year. 45 seconds. Any final comments, ladies?
No, we just hope to see everybody tomorrow.
Yes.
Great turnout.
Please come out.
Please come be with us, and please come learn, and please come volunteer and be a member. Like I said, it works on the membership as well as the board working together. We need you.
Yes.
Whether you have a child or not, we need you.
Absolutely. So, ladies, thank you for stopping by the studio. We're going to definitely have to bring you ladies back on soon to keep everybody updated on all things RESPT. Thank you for each and every one of you for tuning in on this delayed edition of Community Conversations. Again, apologize for the delayed start. Had some issues that came up, but you know, they said the show must go on, and we're going to go on with lots of great music. You guys have a great and blessed day. This is Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.